All right, let's get some analysis now on the happenings within the MK party, joined by political analyst Mpumelelo Phungula. Mpumelelo, good to have you. Thank you very much for your time. Is it too early to talk even about internal democracy within the Mkhonto party, or is it still a case of what Jabulani Khumalo says, what Ubaba says currently is what is prevailing?
Please come again with the question, Thabo.
I'm saying, is it too early to speak about internal democracy within Mkhonto party, or is it, as Jabulani Khumalo says, what Ubaba says at this particular point is what goes?
Thank you for having me, and good evening to the audience. I think it's an opportune moment to be discussing internal party democracy in the MK party, given that there has been significant changes in the last couple of months in its leadership. I did note that in its current leadership structure, they do not have a Secretary General. I think Mr. Atazwane vacated that position. It was not the first time. Initially, after having taken it up, resigned, and then there was a story of him having actually been dismissed or redeployed, and then he got back again, and now we know that there's a vacancy of the Secretary General position, and this also caused some murmurs to come through when former Deputy President of the Economic Freedom Fighters, Mr. Floyd Shivambu, resigned or left the EFF to join the MK party. Quite a lot of people made the connection that he might be taking up that position. So it is time for internal democracy to be spoken about. But also, Thabo, I think with any new political party, it is normal to have the challenges that the MK party is having, and some within the party and outside of the party will see these current happenings as an opportunity for the MK party to strengthen its structures.
Do you think that some within the party who are of the view that former President Jacob Zuma is well within his right, as opposed to take advantage of this interim constitution, if you like, which has not been ratified, to make particular changes to strengthen his party, especially seeing that now, I mean, they didn't, I don't think, even though they were saying they were expecting a two-thirds majority, they themselves expected to have such a presence in Parliament. But they need to be there in that Parliament with the necessary skills and the know-how to navigate. So there are some who would accept this kind of summarily dismissing 18 members and bringing in the likes of Floyd Shivambu and Zonele Manye and others that maybe are being targeted to go in there.
Yeah, politics is about contestation, Thabo. We know that the MK party came after differences that were had with the ANC, President Jacob Zuma's former political party. So we know that given the voter share that he took away from the ANC, there would be also acts to counteract that by the ANC. So some firmly believe that there were people in the MK party who were working to try and reverse the gains of the MK party for the benefit of the ANC inside the MK party. So I think, like you're saying, it might be an opportune moment for former President Jacob Zuma, who's now the president of the MK party, to use this moment to try and strengthen any weaknesses within his new party.
Yeah, and how does this then sit with those members who would have, I suppose, joined the party, and whether they were double parked, would have campaigned for the party with the hope that they would be, of course, guaranteed a place in the list and make it to Parliament. How does it sit with them, and how much influence do they have, I suppose, in the broader constituency that makes up that organization?
I read the MK Party manifesto, as well as the form that members sign when they join the organization. It clearly states that you do not join the organization with any expectation to benefit or to take up a leadership role. So I think that would be easy for the leadership of the MK Party to dismiss, because you are deployed at the behest of the leadership of the party, and you can be redeployed or even be completely removed from the party. And as far as I know, there's no policy or position that counteracts or doesn't allow for the MK Party to reshuffle its leadership if it deems fit.
Yeah, and so this backlash, do you think it's something that the former president would have expected, that these members would challenge this decision in court in such a way?
Definitely. Former President Jacob Zuma is quite an experienced politician. He, I believe, would have worked out that things may pan out this way, and I believe that given how, like in recent times, the party has been in court a number of times over similar issues, that they did prepare for this moment. And like with some of the previous similar cases, they might come out on top regarding this court challenge. But that's for the lawyers to pronounce on.
Yeah. For those who are coming in, like Floyd Shivambu, who has, of course, expressed clearly that is joining MK Party to play an important role of shaping the direction of this particular organization. Do they see this as something that builds confidence? I mean, if this can certainly happen to those members who would have campaigned for the party, how much more for them who are Johnny come latelys?
Look, I think Floyd would have also made his calculations. He's also not a newbie in the political space. He's quite an experienced politician, and you would know that he was very valuable to the EFF, because he was not just an ordinary member, but the deputy president and a founding member. You would have noted also that the president of the EFF, Mr. Julius Malema, made a special dispensation for Floyd Shivambu, giving him the option to come back to the party if he so wishes in the future, which is something that is not allowed in the EFF. So that also speaks to the level of experience and influence that Mr. Floyd Shivambu wields, and that this can only be interpreted as a loss for the EFF and a gain for the MK Party. I think as the MK Party welcomed him into his ranks, they would have known that he brings a wealth of experience, as he was the chief whip of the EFF. And so there's a lot of legislative experience that he comes with, and he's one of the prominent lawmakers that we have in the country. So I think if the MK Party views Floyd joining as a win-win situation, then they would also try to give him the space to exercise his skills and try to benefit from those skills. So I don't think there's any issue there.
Yeah. So the battle, I suppose, to formalize the processes then of the MK Party at this particular point, do you see them taking the same kind of shape and form of internal democracy that former President Jacob Zuma would have been used to within the ANC of various structures that are decision-making structures, conference, NEC, National Working Committee, and your disciplinary structures and so on and so forth. Do you see that taking shape within this party in such a fashion? Of course, the ANC is over 100 years old. You would not expect that a party that was formed just in December would immediately have those kind of structures in place.
True, Thabo. It takes a while to build such strong structures as the ANC has. I also believe that this is an opportunity for the for the MK party given that quite a lot of its members were formerly members of the ANC, and chief amongst them, one of the longest, if not the longest serving member of the NEC, of the ANC, before he left the ANC recently. He should know the strengths and the weaknesses of those structures, and I would believe that with his leadership collective, they will then decide which of those to take on, but also as a new party, which of new ones to come up with, and which ones not to take on, because sometimes some of those processes make it quite difficult for the party leadership when it needs to dismiss certain rogue elements within the party. So I think those considerations are fully at play right now, and I would believe that Mr. Shivambu, also coming with his own experience as an individual and as a former member of the EFF, will play a significant role in trying to shape the building of those structures.
Delays then in the swearing in of the so-called new members, who these 18 are said to be making way for. Is that going to have any significance? I mean, is the MK party worried about that? It's probably a delay of another 2 weeks if they are, of course, still in court, if they get an interdict or not. But would they be worried at all about the delays of bringing in those members?
Yeah, it will certainly cause a worry, but I do not think that would have been something that they would not have expected. The party has people like Dr. John Hlophe, the former judge, within its ranks. He's one of the most experienced like people in law in the country. We know the role that he played in the Western Cape. And so now he takes it with him all that wealth of experience to the MK party, and I believe that he will be able to advise the party accordingly on how to navigate the space that it's currently in.
Mpumelelo Phungula, appreciate your time. Thank you so much for your intervention tonight there. Political analyst there.
Thank you very much,
Phungula. Right, let's take a break. In Focus continues for you shortly. Stay with us.